Martin Donaghy is Illuman branch leader in Ireland. Martin is weaving men's rite of passage and helping men to find their own selves and find their maybe call in this world and in this realm, getting to know better the soul, the spirit, and the way how world wants us meant to be. My name is Georgs Rubenis, and this is spiritual practices, how to find the right one. Conversations with people about our choices and about the ways how we are shaping our own life's pattern, gradually becoming authentic beings. So hello, Martin.
Hello, Rubenis. How are you?
Thanks, I'm fine. Welcome here in Latvia, in the station in Stacija.
Beautiful.
In just several hours, or actually, tomorrow you will be starting to lead this men's rite of passage program here in station. Can you explain what was your path and how you found Richard Rohr's program and this Illuman organization for yourself?
Well, Richard has been coming to Ireland for a long time. In the 90s, he started up the men's work. He used to come for different reasons, to speak on different things, because you know Richard, he has such a wealth of experience and knowledge. But he started to hone in on this thing called the men's rites of passage. So one of our men, Jerry Moore, went to Ghost Ranch and he did the rites with Richard over there. And he says, I have to bring this back to Ireland. The men in Ireland need this. So Jerry and 2 or 3 other men brought the rites to Ireland. And the first one was in 2009, and there were 73 men at it. Then 2012 was the next one. That's when I did my rites, T-shirt from it. And Richard had called this organisation Men as Learners and Elders, males. And we've kept that name because we can't improve on it. We think it just says everything. But I came to the rites on the recommendation of the ritual elder in our group. And I did, and I have never found a program more powerful before or since. Things like, I went to the rites, I was 42, but I was a boy, and I came away a man. I can't explain it, it's just the power of the rites. I also went to the rites thinking I was the only one in the world who thought a particular way or felt a particular way. But on the first night in my council group, I realized I'm not different, you know. And they were the 2 big things that happened at my rites. I grew up in 5 days. I became a man. So,
And now, if you're looking back at this event 10 years ago, what was this reason why you accepted this invitation?
I think the first time I had gone to a males group or an Illuman group, the drumming was very, very powerful. And I don't remember much else, but the drumming really drew me there. And then talking to the ritual elder over the next few months, I knew there were things missing in my life. And on chatting to this man, he reckoned it would be a good thing for me to go and to do the rites. Because there's that hole, you know, and it needed filling. And the rites for me were a threshold into this work, because we have a thing called the Journey of Illumination, and there are 5 touchstones, and service is one of the touchstones. So when we've done the rites, we keep it going and we go and help other men go through the rites. So I think that's one of the main reasons. That's why I keep coming back.
And but thinking, let's say you told you were 42 when you did it. And usually, if you're looking at our Western culture, Western society, so this this average man, 40, 42. So that means that this guy has already have established some sort of life, maybe achieved something. Yeah, but still there's this need or call to do something more. Was it also something similar with you, or how it was to you? So this inner feelings or inner sensations before that.
Well, Richard always speaks about there are two halves of life, the first half and the second half. Pretty basic stuff. Everything has two halves, but the first half you build your tower. You know, so success. You go out and you set up your business, make a family, you build a nest. And the second half of the life blows that nest away. So I think I had a family. I have a wife and 2 children, still have, thank God. But a recession happened in Ireland in 2009, and I had an electrical business for 20 years nearly, and everything went upside down. I lost the business, became unemployed, so that was a big change. I ended up going back to college, and I did a 4-year degree, but that was 2009. So all these questions were playing on me, and I went then in 2012, as I said, when I met this other guy, the ritual elder, and ended up doing the rites from there.
We also sometimes tend to think about masculinity as such as some sort of, strengths or competing, and about all other things that we can imagine as stereotypical men. But Illuman and Men's Rite of Passage actually are something quite different. It's about community, about building relationships, and was that something understandable and acceptable for you, and how you were putting those two different archetypes of men into yourself?
Well, I suppose yes, because my vision of manhood would have been quite different to other people's, because my father and mother separated when I was 6, so I didn't have a father as such most of my life, so I didn't have good role models, and I craved the company of other men, real men, and that's what I found at the rites. I did make up with my father before we got news he was dying of cancer in 1988, and my friend offered to bring me down to see him in hospital. He was down the country in Ireland, so I went down, and we hadn't seen him, or I hadn't seen him, in about 8 years. So I went into it. It was a very old hospital, and I eventually found him, and he was just lying on the bed, and he wasn't moving. So I shook him, and he woke up, and he instantly recognized me, and he put his arms around me, and he said it was the best family reunion a man could ever have. And it was just a beautiful ending. He died a couple of weeks later, but to have experienced that was wonderful, because everything bad in my thinking about him fell out of me, and I could only think good of him after that. So I think that maybe led me then onto really wanting to find good men in my life. So I think that's one of the things that led up to it.
And also, though Richard Rohr and Men's Rite of Passage and the Illumin organization quite often speak about this core wound, and about healing it, and as well about how this core wound impacts most of the decisions that we are making. What is the way how you have worked with this core wound, and what are maybe your daily spiritual practices? What are you doing on a daily basis?
Well, the core wound, mine has changed, which is good. It's like your favourite film. Yeah. Sometimes another film will come out and that becomes your favourite film. Yeah. But the core wound for me was I was told growing up that I would never do it. Do it meaning I could be trying to cut the garden or trying to be good in school, and I was told, you'll never do that, you'll never do that. So that got into my mind, and when I went to the rites, that's the wound I carried. You know, you'll never do it. So at the rites, there's different rituals for different days. I won't say too much about it because for the men coming to do it, it would not be fair on them. But one of the rituals is about your core wound. And in that I expressed what it was. And with the help of the other men that were there, that wound got turned around. And then wasn't my core wound anymore. It's not magic. Yeah. Okay, it would be great if it could go like that, but it's very special and very powerful.
Yeah. And also thinking about this event as such, or a program as such, who would be the men who needed to participate in this program, based on your experience?
My experience. In 2019, I was the convener of the rites in Ireland. And I used to think the rites are for everyone. Yeah. And I found out that, yes, that's true. The rites are for every man, but not every man is ready for the rites. We have a saying in Ireland, I'll say it nicely here on this, is you need your backside kicked quite a lot before you're ready for the rites, you know. Not that it's about suffering, but unless we have suffered in life and come to achieve empathy for others who have suffered, it probably won't be any good for us. You know, we need to have, I think, recognize our own brokenness, and then we can see the brokenness in others.
So that means what I'm hearing you saying is that usually men who decide or answer the call to participate in men's rite of passage are the ones who have experienced some sort of traumas, some sort of not the best years in life, rather than going and participating, I don't know, maybe like just to get ready, just in case if something bad happens with my life.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is, you're right. It's a sense is needed that, you know, that you do see your own frailty. Yeah. And we all make mistakes. In fact, I have never met a man that hasn't something he is not happy about, or he has made mistakes or done wrong, or, you know, something he needs to reconcile within himself, with himself even. But a lot of the times men won't see that, and they go, oh, no, not me, not me. So sometimes it takes, maybe not this year, maybe next year, you know, but they eventually will all come around to it.
And so, actually it's also not always quite easy to motivate a man to participate in some sort of program. Yeah, so what you're saying that this motivation need to come from our inner soul or our inside, rather than somebody saying me that, hey, you need to go, you need to participate.
Well, one way we find that does seem to work, well, the best way is word of mouth. Yeah. So you tell your friend, you know, because he hears it from you. Yeah. Another very good way is the application form, which is about 9 pages long. But the questions that you're asked really go straight in there. You can't just, you must really spend time with them. So the rites actually start from you've downloaded that form and you start to read it. And those questions, because they ask inner questions of you, and they're really, really important. We know that when we get applications back, we know has a man really sat with it and have given of himself from the inside, or has a man, oh yeah, we know the difference.
And usually when we're speaking with men about emotions and sensations, an average man have two of them. One is bad feeling, another one is good feeling, or bad emotion or good emotion. And it's not so easy, you know, to see and to notice all those different sensations, all those different emotions. And usually when we are starting to feel or answer some deep questions, we need actually to get to those words and to understand how does it, what's happening within me. But it's not always quite easy.
No.
Yeah, but does man's rite of passage help men also to deep dive into this world, untangible world?
Yeah, it very much does. It helps men open their heart, because those feelings, as you spoke about, are in there, and they're alive. So you can bury them, but they're still alive. So they will manifest in your life in ways that you don't like, you know. And one thing, you know, for men to cry is a big thing. You know, not for every man now, but stereotypically, you know, for a man, men don't cry, you know. But the rites teaches you and shows you that it's water, you know. Brenda Lee had a song and she says, tears are just the rain to make love grow. It's a beautiful line because it's true. And the Africans say that the hardest tear is the dry tear. So it's the one we won't cry. When we feel it coming, and it's sore. There's actually a feeling of pain when you try and do that. You try and hold it back. And the pain goes down your face and into your jawbones, you know. But on the rites, not that it's all about crying or laughing or being angry, but it's a safe place to be exactly who you are at that particular time in your life. It's a safe place.
And also, Iluman and the Men's Rite of Passage are about community as well.
Yeah.
And usually we know that when we are participating in some programs or retreats, so we get this booster, but after a couple of days, so it goes away. And how is this community working, and what are the tools that men can use afterwards in order, you know, to stay on that path and to be there even when they have already went outside the program?
Well, Richard really encourages that when the rites are over, if you don't belong to what we call a local group, set one up. So when we came off the rites in 2012, we did them in June. So 3 of us that October, on the 25th of October 2012, set up a little group. And it meets every Wednesday to this day. In fact, tomorrow night, my brothers in Ireland will be meeting and holding us all here in sacred space. So that's, ours meets weekly, some meet monthly, and some meet every 2 weeks. But we've found that in your week, you really look forward to it, because it gives you a chance to go and just be you, you know, good or bad, up or down, in or out, it doesn't matter. And then on a daily level, I remember a man saying once that meditation is for everyone, but not everyone is for the same type of meditation. I can't sit down for too long on my own. In a group, yes, but on my own, But I can walk. So I do a walking meditation. Very, very slowly and very, very contemplatively. So that works for me. Also, I have little things that I would read every morning. And sometimes I have an app on my phone which comes through the watch that beeps randomly throughout the day, but it just calls me back to center, that I just say a line or a little mantra, and it could go off 3 times in 1 hour, or it mightn't go off for 4 hours. So it catches me, you know, and it just brings me back to center. And then I keep in touch with my brothers in the other groups, and we try and build more groups in Ireland, the same as around the world.
And also, so we know that powerful programs changes us, and they are wakening up something pretty deep down in ourselves. And when that event happens, we tend to change something in our lives, and usually those changes are very frightening for people close to us. What was your experience with your family when you started new habits, meetings, those Wednesday meetings and so on? Yeah, so how it was for you?
Well, going back to how you said things change, I have been on many rights now at this stage, as helping out as an elder, apart from my own rights in different countries. And one of the main things that I see, which is wonderful, is the men who arrive on Wednesday aren't the same men who go out on Sunday. Richard calls this we are men transforming men through a power greater than ourselves. So whatever the power is, it comes and it will take a man, and even his face will change. You'd see a man will come in like this, and he'll leave on Sunday, but his face is relaxed. He walks differently. He breathes differently. And you're right, when you go home, your wife might say,
"Who is that?"
Yeah, where is he? Your children might say, "Who's this new man?" But my girls now, for me, my girls were young. Well, I suppose they were 12 and 10. I've always had a very good relationship with them. But my wife saw differences in me that I hear her when she speaks to some of my other friends. She was saying, like, things that I would used to do, I don't do anymore. And other things, like, I'm trying to think of practical examples. If I say that, I'm going to do a particular thing, it's done. Whereas before I would mean it, but I might forget, or something else might come in, but I would be more, I've said this now, and this, it has to happen, unless something serious happens, but it has to happen. Also, I'm around my family much more than I used to be. I used to work like just crazy, but now I want to be with the family more. My wife has met many of the men who have come through the rites. In fact, most of the people that call to my house now are men who have done them. It's because I've told lots of my friends about them, and so they have done them. So most men, my wife could tell you about the rites, in the little bit she would have been told by me. So yeah.
So that means you are encouraging men to participate and to do, and that even those changes are not so frightening for the closest ones, and closest ones that can actually benefit from those changes.
For sure, because every night we must go to bed with ourselves, with our thoughts and our feelings. Every night, we cannot get away from them. They're part of us. Some good, some, well, they're not good or bad, they're part of us. And something like the rites helps us to get those feelings out, to give them air. Because sometimes we carry things inside for so long. And sometimes all that's needed is just to speak. And at the rites, we all share and we use a talking stick. So if you have the talking stick, no man will talk over you. And by the words you say, you will encourage another man to talk, and you give him permission. And sometimes all that's needed is for you to just say your sentence, and it goes up into the air and you feel a lightness. Because at the rites you may think, oh, I have this or I have that and I can't show this and I can't show that. At the rites you'll see that there's nothing that you cannot do and you cannot show. You can be fully yourself.
Well, yeah, thank you, Martin. On this inspiring note, yeah, I'm saying thank you for this conversation, and have good luck, you and with your team, hosting and having this program here in Staci. Thank you. Yeah.
It's wonderful to be here. Thank you,
Martin.
Thank you.
Yeah. This was Spiritual Practices, how to find the right one. See you next time.